tangible tips. And the first one I have for your Instagram stories is to utilize all the different tagging options. So it's very important whenever you're sharing a post with some other user or someone else to tag them as in the @ and use the @ symbol and mention them. It's also very important to use location tags. And those are the ones that most people know about and most people do pretty regularly on their Instagram stories. But the one that people always forget and fail to use is hashtags. Hashtags are so important. In fact, a year ago, I started growing my Instagram account, and at the time, I was at about 2,000 followers. Now I'm over 13,000 followers, or at least very close to 13,000. And so in just a year, I've gained 11,000 followers, and 95% of them have found me through the hashtags that I use. So hashtags are extremely, extremely important. And on your stories, you can use up to 10 hashtags. And I recommend using 10 hashtags on every single story you post. That way you can reach more people. More people have the possibility of seeing your story and finding your profile and connecting with you and learning a little bit more. So use all 10 hashtags on your Instagram stories. But the tip that I want to give, and it's a little bit of a secret tip, is that they don't have to be visible on the screen. So once you type the hashtag, it doesn't have to be on the screen. So if you could imagine 10 words, if you could imagine 10 words on this screen right now, it would be very visually distracting. If word, 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 it would take away from the actual teaching that's going on. But imagine if once you put the hashtags on your story, you just slid them off the screen. So they still exist. They still will help boost your content, help get you in front of new people, but they won't be visually distracting. You'll still get the benefits without everyone seeing the hashtags actually on your post. That's my first tangible tip, is to use all the different tagging options, including hashtags. My second tangible tip is consistency, consistency, consistency. It is so important to be posting at least 10 times a day onto your Instagram story. And it can't just be 10 times at night. It can't be, I'm going to check on Instagram at 10 p.m. and just post 10 stories from the day or post a bunch of pictures from my day. It has to be consistently throughout the day. And the reason for this, and this is different than Snapchat stories, is that if you're posting throughout the day on Instagram stories, your views will continue to go up. On Snapchat, people can consume content all at once. So it's okay if you post all in one sitting because people are going to watch all the way through. On Instagram stories, there's so much going on. There's Instagram stories, there's the Instagram feed, there's the explore page. Instagram is a very crowded environment. So you need to be posting throughout the day to make sure that your Instagram stories little profile icon bubble is at the front of people's attention. Out of sight, out of mind. You need to be posting enough that you're in people's sight and on their mind, and that way you'll get more views on your story. So at least 10 times a day, and be posting throughout the day. So I say aim for every 2 hours, every hour and a half, every hour if you can. Try to be posting something to your Instagram story. My third and final tangible tip for you is that at least once a day, encourage some kind of engagement on your Instagram story. And what's nice about Instagram stories is that there's lots of different ways you can encourage that engagement. There's polling, there's swiping up to send chats. If you have over 10,000 followers, you can have people swipe up to visit links. You can have them click on hashtags, click on usernames, take screenshots. There's so many different ways that people can engage with your Instagram stories. And so that's why you need to be encouraging that engagement at least once per day. That way your audience gets more involved. They start to feel like they can trust you a little bit more. And eventually when you want them to join a coaching program with you or buy something from you, they already know what it's like to engage with you, and they've already seen the reward from engaging with you. So definitely encourage engagement at least once per day. Those are the tangible tips. Now let's move over to the intangible tips, which I feel are much more important. They're not as easy to define or to put a number on, but they're so much more important for real lasting growth on Instagram. And the first one kind of relates to encouraging engagement, and that is to build and focus on relationships. Focus on the people. It's not about the business. It's not about making money or growing your following. It's really about the people. Social media was invented to allow us to connect with people all around the world, and that's a very beautiful thing about social media. We connected a few hours ago on Instagram. You found me on podcast, you sent me a direct message on Instagram, and here we are now on Facebook and on Zoom. Social media, it's insane how you can connect with people in that way. And so focus on that connection. Focus on building relationships. When someone comments or swipes up on one of your posts and leaves you a reply, engage with that person. Ask them a question. Thank them for replying and thank them for being there and supporting you. It's very important to make people feel that you're a real person too, that you want to build that relationship with them and you're not just expecting them to try to build it with you. The second intangible tip that I have for you is another thing you should focus on, and that is to focus on serving or giving. Not every post has to be, the 10 best tips. Not every post has to look like something you would pin on Pinterest. But every post, you should ask yourself, is this serving my audience in some way? And keep in mind that serving your audience could be making them laugh, maybe making them think about something they've never thought about before. Maybe it's just making them smile or providing some kind of quote or tip that you heard throughout the day. But really focus on serving and giving back and over-delivering to your audience. That's something that I try to do all the time on my Instagram and my podcast and my Snapchat, everywhere. I'm trying to just give, over-deliver without the expectation of anything in return. I don't expect people to want to get involved with my business or want to learn more. I just want to give all the knowledge that I already have and share it. And if it helps people, great. That's the end goal. And if people want to join my business or want to learn more or want to get in contact with me, that's awesome. And I would love to help them even more. But give, serve your audience to the best of your ability. And that brings me to my third and final intangible tip. And this is the one that it makes everyone stop. It's a big sticking point for a lot of people, and it's a struggle for a lot of people. And it's a cliche too. And the third and final intangible tip is to be yourself. Be yourself on your stories. Your stories are a place where you are allowed to be yourself. People often complain about Instagram, saying that it's just a perfect representation of people's lives. Everything's photoshopped and filtered, and no one's life is really that great, and everyone's just bragging. And to a certain extent, in the Instagram feed, that's what's going on, and that's what's expected. On your Instagram stories, however, that's not what's expected. On your Instagram stories, people go there because they want to connect with the real you. But that's a cliche, right? Be yourself. How do I be myself? Well, you can be yourself. I have really 3 ways that you can be yourself, and these should make it a little bit easier. And that's number 1, when you're on Instagram stories, focus on emotion. So focus on how you're feeling, whether that's positive or negative. If your house is chaotic and you got dogs and cats and kids running around and your if everything's going wrong, share that on your Instagram story, because someone will be able to relate. Someone will be able to connect with you in that way. So focus on emotion. Also focus on storytelling. It's called Instagram stories. It's called Snapchat stories, Facebook stories. You should focus on storytelling. Tell us a story. Tell us about your morning. Tell us what's going through your head, and let us connect with you more as a human being. And then if you struggle with that and you think, well, my life's just not that exciting, I feel a little bit uncomfortable sharing my thoughts and my emotions, just document what's going on. Documentation over creation. Focus on just documenting your day and what's going on. And it'll also alleviate some pressure, because there is a lot of pressure on social media to create and make everything look pretty and come out with the best tips and have your Instagram look all filtered up and pretty. Don't worry about creating for your Instagram story. Just document what's going on, document your day. People will be going to connect with you, build that relationship and that trust and that bond. And eventually those people can move from just viewers to followers, and then maybe eventually consumers or friends.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I love how clear and concise you are too. That was amazing. You are.
Thank you.
So what is something you can offer people? Because we've got probably a lot of people watching, and so what is it that you do that we should pay attention to?
Well, I would love to connect with anyone who's on this call on Instagram. So if anyone wants to swipe up on one of my stories or send me a direct message, I'm Brock11 Johnson. So that's Brock11 Johnson on Instagram and on Snapchat. So if anyone's on Snap and they wanted to connect, I'd love to connect with you there too. And actually, I created a little mini challenge. It's not like a big giant course. And I appreciate you saying that I'm concise. That's something that I've tried to work on, and something that I think I've developed from speaking in these little sound bites, speaking constantly in 15-second segments and 10-second segments on Instagram and Snapchat. has allowed me to I'd be more comfortable, honestly, on live video. And so I actually created a challenge kind of around this whole concept. It's just a quick 7-day challenge, and it's called the 7-Day Content Challenge. And that 7-Day Content Challenge is available on 7daycc.com. And it's just a $15 challenge. Basically, all it is there's a video every single day, and along with the video, you'll get some motivation, some encouragement, and just some tips. And really what it's designed for is to check off daily tasks. So I'll give you daily tasks of post a certain amount of times on your Instagram story, post a certain amount of times on Snapchat if you're on Snapchat, post this kind of picture to your Instagram feed, and then I give you caption templates, and there's tons of bonuses and tutorial videos showing you how to create text posts on Instagram and how to create different kind of posts and edit and what your captions might look like, some story ideas, some things to talk about. So there's tons of bonuses in there. And like I said, it covers Instagram, the actual feed, your Instagram stories, and your Snapchat stories, and how to kind of work the three together and get the most out of the three to grow your brand and start connecting with people and building those relationships.
Awesome. So I'll put the link, you guys, in the comments here if anybody's interested in looking into that. I know that sounds really interesting to me. So thank you, Rob. I know you got to get on another call. I just really appreciate you. Talking about giving. I mean, this is giving. So I appreciate it. I've learned so much. There's tons of likes and hearts and stuff going on my.
Awesome.
But thank you. I appreciate
awesome.
it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me, and for everyone who's watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. Good night.
Bye. Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you. So, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. That was amazing. Like I said, I listened to Brock on a podcast. His mom is actually an author, I'm sure you guys know who she is, but I actually saw his mom on TV at the gym. That's how I found them. So I hope you got a lot of great notes. I want to be able to do these calls for us every Monday, where we're just going to be doing business training and hearing different testimonies and things like that. So I want you to keep Monday nights at 8:30 free. We'll always be done before 9. We're actually going to be done just about a minute from now. And then Tuesday nights is when we're going to be sharing real stories from real people on our Happily Healthy page. So I want you guys to make sure you're plugging into that. Let's share this amazing opportunity. If whatever you got from this call, share your best takeaway right now. I want to hear it. I want to hear from you. What was your greatest takeaway from that? To me, I thought it was very simple, very concise. Like I said, I've already been using it just since Friday, and I already have about 50 or 60 new followers, and a lot of them are from those hashtags. I do exactly what he said. I add the 10 hashtags, and I swipe them off to the side. I'm Triplet Tribe 5 if you want to follow me. And all right, but that's it, you guys. I'm going to take a moment and look through any questions you have. Post any questions, and I will try my best to answer them for you. But I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a great night. Bye, everyone.